Hey everyone, hope you're keeping safe and sane under current circumstances. I know a lot of people are really starting to hit a couple of bubbles, and that's what I wanted to talk about today is around managing relationships and why relationships can tend to get stuck or hit a speed bump, as I call them. And I found that over the years working with couples and that it's generally down to two things. One, it's communication, and the other one is expectations. So when it comes to communication, often what happens is it's either the lack of communication, so either what is not being said or what's not being heard. What's not being said is because the relationship space between the couple, the relational space, which is where your relationship lives, and what you both bring into that space, in other words, how you are showing up in your relationship, co-creates that space. In other words, the health and the quality of your relationship. And when that space doesn't feel safe, it impacts the communication between the two of you. If that space doesn't feel safe, I'm not going to speak up and speak out and expose myself or be vulnerable and let you know what I'm really wanting, feeling, needing from you or what's going on inside of me. So I will rather tend to either shut down or not share, or I will come and show up in other ways, which is potentially from a negative communication point of view. So things like criticism, fault finding, blaming, shaming, etc. The other thing is that what's not being heard, because often we listen to respond. While our partner or someone is talking to us, we're so busy forming an answer that we're not fully present and listening to what's being said. In other words, stepping into their world and really hearing what's going on and where they're at and what potentially they need. So that's where communication plays a big role. And when we tend to get into a reactive negative space, it impacts our communication and we're unable to have those open, honest conversations with each other and really expose ourselves and be vulnerable and say, hey, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm needing, this is how I need you to be there for me, or this is what's going on inside of me. So that's communication. The other one is expectations. A lot of the time we create expectations in our own minds about how we expect our partner to be, act, or behave, or the kind of partner or the kind of behavior that we want from them. But we don't necessarily communicate or share that. So what ends up happening is we create these expectations in our minds. And when our partner doesn't meet those expectations, we feel let down and disappointed. And we end up then potentially taking it out on our partner. And so this is where we need to manage expectations. Our own made up expectations and assumptions, or very real expectations, things that we may have communicated but that haven't been met. And that's where couples tend to bump heads a lot. So those are two things that can really impact the quality of your relationship and the health of your relationship. So yeah, if you are hitting speed bumps, as I call them, or having a wobble in your relationship, if you tend to be getting stuck in a negative spiral, take a step back, have a look at how you're communicating with each other, how you're showing up, how you're co-creating your relationship, and have a look at the expectations that are either very real or perceived, assumed, behind your expectation of what and how your partner should behave, or what and how your relationship should look like. Because sometimes we are conditioned by the way we grow up and what we're exposed to, that we have this picture of what an ideal relationship should be like. And sometimes it doesn't match the reality of the relationship that we find ourselves in. So I hope that's given you some food for thought. If you are needing any help, feel free to reach out. So yeah, see you next time and keep safe.